Hey guys, Chad here. Talking about cleaning cages. One thing I think we should all have as a supply is povidone iodine solution. Stuff is great for cleaning your cages. It disinfects, it's antifungal, antiviral, and antibacterial, and super safe to use around pets. No fumes, no nothing. I love this stuff. That's what the bottle is that I'm spraying into my cage too. It's also great to soak your snakes in once in a while. Really helps stuck shed come off, and it's totally safe. Always use it diluted to like a tea, or weak tea color solution. Alright, back to cage cleaning. We're going to start with my cave-dwelling rat snakes today. These guys are two of my favorite snakes. They're really pretty, really high yellow. I will get eggs next year from these two. As you can see, I'm taking the water bowl out first. I'm going to go spray that with some iodine. Make sure I get that biofilm off of it. And I'm going to let it soak while I'm cleaning so that the iodine has a good contact time to make sure it kills everything I want it to kill. Then I'm going to come back and find the snake, make sure I don't get bit. If you stick your hand in a cage and the snake's waiting for prey, it's going to strike at you, or potentially going to strike you, depending on the snake you got. These guys can be bitey, so I just want to locate him first. He's in his favorite LaCroix box hide. I use a lot of cardboard hides. I switch them out often, and I put multiple in there. It's always important to give your snake choices. Have a hide on the cool side, a hide on the warm side, and also it's important to have a humid hide, somewhere where they can get to increased humidity. You don't have to have your whole cage be humid as long as they have a place where they can get humid. I'm putting him in that iodine soak, help give him a nice soak, kill any bacteria on his skin, anything like that. Putting him in a bucket he doesn't want to go in. I also put large water bowls in all my cages. Your snake should be able to soak at any point in time. And that is really important for shedding and depending on where they're from. These snakes are tropical, so they like it a little more humid, which is why I give them a humid hide and a large water bowl to increase humidity in the cage overall. One important thing to think of is where you put your water bowl. If it's large like the ones I use, if you put it over the heat source, you're going to get a really muggy, humid cage, which might work in your situation depending on what type of animal you have. But if you don't want it too wet or muggy, don't put your water bowl on top of your heat source. In my case, I've got two Ultratherm heat pads underneath these cages to keep them warm. These snakes don't like it too hot, low 80s. If you get it too hot, they get stressed out, so I just have heat pads under one side of each cage, and I make sure I don't put my water bowls over there so that the condensation does not build up in the entire enclosure, causing it to be wet and damp and pooling water, which is bad, as I mentioned before. Okay, on to humid hides. I love this Hiawatha Greens sphagnum moss. You can get any kind you want. This stuff's great. I get it from Fred Meyer or Lowe's. That big bag's only $10, a lot cheaper than any pet store sphagnum moss. I'm just going to put a little bit into each hide here, and each lid has a hole in it, so it's a dark cavern-like thing for them to go in and get humid if they want to hang out somewhere more humid than the rest of their enclosure and help with shedding or just depending on their mood. So I add just a little bit of water to each and put enough in there like a sponge. You don't want any pooling water in these. Just moist, just high humidity, not wet and pooling water. That's bad. You'll get bacteria growth and you get respiratory infections if you have pooling water that they're sitting in for long periods of time. Once it's just damp enough, put the lids back on, put them back in the cages, and you're all set. Alright guys, that was my first video. Learning how to edit, talking about cage cleaning. Let me know what else you want to hear about. I can talk about anything exotic. Reptiles, exotic pets, you name it. Let me know what you think in the comments below.